Okay, so welcome guys this afternoon to this closing Zoom of the first model of the course, that is Communication Education, Concepts in Conversions. Today we have with us Professor Geisel Garcia. She's graduated in Social Communication and Communication Science from the University of Havana, and she took the same master degree in Communication and Education here at the UAB. So she also obtained a doctorate in communication here at the university, studying the impact of digital media competencies on participation and democratic gap here in Spain. So nowadays, she's developing comprehensive communication strategies to support digital inclusion and equality, among other things. So thank you, Hazel. Welcome back this afternoon, and I leave it to it.
Hello, everyone. Well, as
Hello.
Albert introduced me already, well, my name is Hazel, and I was a student of communication and education. And since I would say some years ago, like 8 years, I have been a professor of this master. So I'm very happy to be with you. I'm very happy to introduce these topics, communication and education. The information age is very relevant. I think we are seeing and witnessing every day new phenomena and conflicts coming from this great shift that we have experienced in regarding technology, regarding data and information. So I think that we have much to talk about. But first of all, I would like to know from you. I would like to know who you are directly. If you can introduce yourself, it would be very good for me. Maybe you know each other, but for me, it's very interesting to understand where you come from, what are your interests, why you decided to engage in this master, what are your fields of interest, and your focus on this area. I will start by myself. I started my thesis, my PhD thesis in, I think it was 2012, and at that moment it was very important, the movement of indignados in Spain. But there was Occupy Wall Street, Nuit debout in France, and there were many movements that were promising, like democracy was going to have very good roots in citizen participation, and that we as citizens in general had a great way to participate, to make politicians know what was important for us and have some capacity of decisions beyond what we had before. And at that moment, there was a lot of hope. I started studying these movements, and actually we have seen how these have changed, no, in 10, 15 years, how things have been different. So for me, it's very important, citizen participation, critical thinking. And I think that this is very linked as well to what is happening in the classrooms, what is happening in formal education. So that's my starting point. I want to hear from you. What's yours?
Can I go next? Because I have to leave our class
Sure.
because I have my own
Yeah.
class.
Sure, Theo. Go ahead.
Thank you. So happy to meet you all. So I'm Theo. I live in Greece, Crete, to the island of Crete. My first studies came out of psychology and education. My first doctorate was in clinical psychology, and for many, many years, I worked both as occupational and clinical psychologist. The last 10 years, I also do some teaching for the Open University, both in Greece and in Cyprus. And now I'm on a research in Prague. I'm on a research in Prague that has to do with how the hybrid teaching affects the mental health and the well-being of the professors. So the fact that I am into online teaching, I have learned, let's say, some things out of, I've get some knowledge out of inside training. So, but it's like bits and bytes, there are different stuff. So I would like to, I wanted to have a broader knowledge and a more specific knowledge. So that's why I applied to the class. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Who wants to continue?
I can be next one. Sorry, I cannot turn my camera on, but yeah. My name is Georgie, and my background is actually full of different media activities. I used to study media, and my bachelor degree and my master's degree is in media, and I also do my PhD here in the UAB. And I do my PhD about kids, migrant kids who study in Catalan schools, and I think this master's would be really helpful for me to create like, an end product for them. So I can, use the data that I get from my research and then create an educational material, which can be very useful and insightful. So I think this first model is particularly very interesting for me, just to find this, let's say, synergy between communication and education.
Great, thank you, Theo. I think it's Lian, the next one, no?
Hello.
Hello, Lily's here as well. Hi, Lily.
Hello. Hi, Tracy. I'm Lily, and I'm from China. And to be honest, my background is about business, not about education. But in my university, the major is education. I want to learn education through UAB is that I have two children, and one is in primary school, and I want to pay more attention to about education, and I hope I have a career to transfer to education, and through module one, in the in the I have something about the knowledge of different concept about education and logic and everything else. So that's the reason I want to study here and to make me to get more about education and communication. That's the reason. Thank you.
Thank you,
Hello?
Lily.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. This is my son.
What is his name?
Wait.
Hello,
So
sorry.
because it is 10 o'clock in China, so they haven't go to sleep, so he's stand by me.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Another-
But he cannot speak some English.
Of course. It's good that he's
That's
so
all.
calm to you. He allows you to participate. That's great.
He is a little shy, so
Do you want to continue, Lian? Do you listen to me? Hello? I don't know if it freezed. Can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you.
Okay. Lian, I don't know if I pronounce it correctly. Lian, do you want to continue?
oh sorry, my internet is not very well. Oh, I mean it's okay. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Lily.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. My name is He Liang. So I graduated from International Studies University, and I'm quite interested in teaching. After my graduation, I worked as a teaching assistant in the university for 1 year in the Department of Applied Education. After that, I learned 3 years in a university in Germany. And then I worked as a consultant for business for almost 15 years. At present, I am engaged in international trading, based both in Singapore and China. So I fly between Singapore and China from time to time. We had a lot of training for our company. And I'm quite interested in education and training and extra. So I hope that I could be promoted in this field. And I'm quite interested in education and communication. That's why I choose this major to continue my learning here. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much, Hayden. I think everyone have introduced themselves, right? So thank you all of you for this presentation. I think I'm very glad that we have different backgrounds, different interests in this area, but we also can be together in these questions about how this new society where information and data is so important, how it is impacting the classroom, and how can we deliver new tools and new opportunities for students to understand the world and to thrive in this world, right? So I would like to explain a bit what we are going to do. I think that we have gone through this introduction of ourselves. I'm going to present this concept that we have already tackled during the forums. We are going to dive into the challenges and debates that they represent. We are going to talk about implications. And finally, I would like to discuss with you and to receive some inputs about how these phenomena are taking place in your different contexts, not that are quite different. But in any case, I would like this to be not just a monologue where I just talk, but you can interrupt, you can react, you can add and contribute at every moment of this presentation. So the idea is to present some ideas, some reflections that I think that can spark the debate, and we can all contribute to this conversation. And finally, we are going to talk about the next steps. If you have some doubts for the activity of the module, or you have any thing to discuss, we can do it at that moment, okay, at the end. So first of all, I would like to start by presenting to you a book that I read recently. Maybe you know it. It's The Braid from Letizia Colombani, from French author Letizia Colombani. I don't know if you know it. It tells 3 stories, particularly the story of Smita, is a member of the Dalit untouchable caste in a remote village in India. That sees how the destiny of her daughter is the same that the one she had, which is lack of opportunities to thrive in life. And that's why she decides to embark in a journey, a liberation journey, mainly for her daughter, having as her only resource her bread, because she's very poor and the only thing she has is her bread, is her hair. And it's interesting because the hair is not only this resource for Smita, but it's also the line that interconnects different stories in different places of the world. One from Canada, a woman that is affected by hyperproductivism and the need to be at the top of the top in a lawyer's cabinet in Canada, and another one that deals with the modernization of the industry of her family business. So both of them have to find ways to overcome the difficulties that come from the context, and the braid is precisely the way that they can deal with it. The story is very related to the topics I bring to you today, because the braid is interconnection. The braid is how we can do single individuals, single parts. We can do them stronger. We can do it more beautiful. But also they imply, this braid implies also some challenges. For example, control. For example, the need to follow certain patterns, very rigid patterns that expect society from us. No, so I would like you to have in mind. Sorry for that. I would like you to have in mind this tension between. That is the braid. No, is interconnection, but it's also the challenge of more control, of more rigidness that we have to deal with. No, the difference is that our society is not only three groups, no, of strands that get together in a braid, but it's more than that. Is like the nervous system of our society. You know, this is a phrase. This is a sentence from Jan van Dijk, an author that we have tagged during the forum, and we are going to discuss in the following slides. No, and I'd like you to start thinking about this, how this network interconnect in our society. What is the way that they do so, and what are the strengths, but what are the vulnerabilities that we have as a society? No. I want to discuss with you first what are the scale of the shift we are experiencing. This is 5.5 today billion people are active internet users. This is approximately 68% of the total global population. These figures even leaves 2.7 billion people still offline. But what is interesting here is the pace at which people across the world is becoming online. No? This is very stark, with an increase of 33% since 2019, with 1.3 billion people estimated to have come online during that period. Another interesting thing is the Internet of Things. No, approximately between 29 and 38 billion IoT devices are expected to become online in 2030. And also the amount of data that is being created is huge. The amount of data has been being created lately. You know, for example, you can see here the graphics, how in zettabytes, how in 2010 we produced just 2 zettabytes, but now we are expected for 2028 to be 394 zettabytes. And you can see that the growth here is huge, no, and it's very stark. And our question here is what is our possibilities, our capabilities to handle with all of this information? What can we do with him? Are we conveniently equipped to deal with all this information? I don't know if you guys know who this guy is. Normally, he is popular between those who have studied communication. This is Marshall McLuhan, is one of the a Canadian professor that was one of the gurus of the globalization. He talked about the global village, and the truth is that every day we are closer of this idea of the global village, with the mainstreaming of the technology that can connect, that can arrive to every place in the world and reduces the time to reach every node, no, on this network. This globalization, that is a form of interconnectedness of all the areas of human life. It affects culture, it affects politics, it affects media, it affects economy, and it creates also a form of collective consciousness. No, McLuhan proposed like a tension between the idea of this society getting connected all over the world, but also the possibility of tribalizations when we protect from the different from the other people. So this another tension that I want to discuss with you is this tension in the idea of this global world where we have every time more the same cultural reference, the same TV shows, the same popular people, but at the same time we get like closed in our tribes because we have fear from the different people. No? That's another tension I would like to tackle with you in this in the following minutes. Well, how do we arrive to this information society, to this knowledge society? Manuel Castells quotes at least three big sources, three big pillars for this revolution. The first one is the electronic revolution. The transistor is this device that allows to process more information in a tiny space. And this was a huge pillar for this digital revolution. But another one that is very important as well is the need for recomposition of the capital. After the economic crisis of the 70s, enterprises, companies needed to get more benefits with less resources, and the ICT were a way of reducing cost, were a way of taking decisions with information in real time that allow it to improve these production processes. No, and another one that we can another one pillar that we can cite in this case is the cultural shift that we experienced in the end, the second half of the 20th century, a rise in the war for civil rights, for political rights, for equality in general regarding women's rights, race rights, where also supposed a change in the way society operated. There is this famous essay from Marshall Vermont that is called "All That Is Solid Melt into the Air," and I really like this essay to understand how modern society, there was like a fall of all the isms, no, capitalism, Catholicism, all that were rigid ideological structures fell down to allow for another more distributed values, cultural values, ways of thinking to become relevant, important, heard in our societies. No, so that's a transition from more rigid, vertical ways of social organization to more distributed, decentralized ways of organization. This is a cultural shift that we have to consider when we talk about the shift from the industrial society to information and knowledge society. And finally, there were policies that gave the final shape to all of these ideas, attempts, new ways of proposing how to do things. And for example, we can quote here this relevant speech on the information superhighways delivered by Al Gore in 1994, where he articulated the vision of digital communication in superhighways, trying to compare information and these flows of information with the same road that had the roads, no, physical roads for economic development in the 50s, no. And this, of course, this speech and this new emphasis in digital economy, of course, this opened the way for other countries to get on board for a digital economy, no. of course, the most powerful economy of the world, show a new line for economic development, and no other economy in the planet wanted to be excluded from. No. Information society. First of all, do you have any reaction about this, about the origins of this information society? Do you have something to add, something to comment here? Is this clear, like these three pillars, technological one, an economical one, and a cultural pillar for this new society? Then we can go through this information society. As Manuel Castells defined, it's a specific form of social organization in which information generation, processing, and transmission become the fundamental sources of productivity and power. Information is a critical source, not only in terms of how to transform materials, for example, in the industrial ages. You need information on how to transform iron on steel, or to transform materials in general to get another product. But in the information age, the information itself is a product, and we can see it on companies of the digital companies that sell information for advertising, for governments, or for companies to take for decision making, or for example, AI technologies that get trained through information. Information itself in this society is the raw material, is what we work on to produce, is a product itself, let's say. Yeah, I wanted to talk a bit about the characteristics. Maybe this is too theoric, but let's try to do it as concrete as possible, as much concrete as possible. Some of the characteristics that the Manuel Castells mentioned is globalization, and this is very easy to understand, and we know very well that society is organized in networks. It is characterized by flexibility and instability, and you know this very well. We have seen how social organization may shift very easily. A good example for this is COVID-19, how we changed all our processes to online, a lot, and many of the processes, productive processes, education, cultural processes to online, and how the society changes. This is a characteristic of this information society. Also, the culture of virtuality, the possibility that we are doing this class online. This is a possibility of this society, but also the territorialization, and we can see this with capital, how companies, organizations organize themselves to take advantage of the best thing of every territory to gain in efficiency. This is a way to explain the territorialization. And finally, fluidity. There is another book that is quite well known. It's from Sigmund Bauman, the liquid society, that explains very well how our society is not fixed, it's not solid, it's liquid, and it can flows. All processes in the information society can flow to adapt to the changing condition of every territory. Fluidity is another of the key concepts that can make us understand this society. Any reaction here? Do you want to add something? Do you want to comment something?
Yeah, I just wanted to briefly mention that it's interesting how we are talking about how it's flexible and it instantly available and everything is virtual, especially because of the COVID, but also how we fully rely on this kind of a communication. Because if you remember, maybe I don't remember exactly when it happened, like maybe a year ago or something, when WhatsApp was down and some services were down, and it was like a completely bizarre time because people couldn't do a thing without it. And I think it's also a very interesting thing for the information society, how we rely without, any thinking on these technologies, that it's something we take for granted and we use it every day. But once it doesn't work, everything breaks down.
Totally, totally. And we also, for example, our memories, data, information that we have in, I don't know, in the cloud, and it can
Yeah.
easily it's in control of somebody else that we don't, is not fully in our hands. So totally, I think this is one of the big risks of this, of what is happening and this virtuality.
Yeah.
There are big contradictions here. So I think it's very interesting. Thank you for this. And also we mentioned, I think, during the forums, this option, no, this idea of the UNESCO that proposed to shift from to move beyond information societies to knowledge societies, where information is not only created and disseminated, but to put it to the benefit of human development. Of course, UNESCO being one of the institutions leading the respect and protection of culture and creativity, it is very important for them that data and information is not used just on behalf of benefit or economic benefit, but also for human development, for sustainability, for inclusivity. So the emphasis of the use of data and information should be not only in the amount of data on how it can improve economic processes, but also in tackling inequalities, for example, and provide truly knowledge opportunities for all in society. No? Another key concept that I wanted to push regarding reading your contributions, but also to contribute with other points of view is network society. I think it is really relevant to think about networks not only as mere physical structures, but also like really meaningful ways of connection in society. No, is as Bajik says, it's a modern type of society with infrastructure of social and media networks that characterize every mode of organization at every level, individual, group, organization, and society. No, Manuel Castells also say that it's like networks that work including and excluding at the same time. So I think it is interesting also to understand this concept, to have a full understanding of what this society is beyond information. Okay. It's a society based on science, on rationality and reflexivity. It's an economy with all values and sectors. Even the agrarian sector, even the industrial sectors are increasingly relying on the production of information. Is key for every sector of the society, and just not the digital information technologies. No, the majority of functions are based on task of information, and it requires more knowledge and more higher education for all of that. No. So here are more statistics I wanted to share with you and to understand how this is creating the path to a new economy. No, I mean, half of the jobs would be automated by 2055. Now we have a lot to talk about. No, I'm hoping that you react also with some examples. I have some examples for you as well. I think they're very, very interesting to discuss about. 90% of jobs will require digital skills in the future. 65% of children will perform jobs that do not exist yet. So I think that this touches us very closely, because we are working with in the classrooms, right? And we know that we are preparing people that will go to the labor market in like I don't know, even 10 years. It will completely change. So what are the skills we need to develop in those students? What are the skills we need to practice? What's the role of schools in their growth as professionals? I think that these are questions to think about now. More on the future of work. These are the profiles that are expected to be more demanded according to the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs report in 2023. And the majority of the fastest growing roles are technology-related roles, no? AI and machine learning specialists, sustainability specialists, business and intelligence analysts, information security analysts are expected to be the most fast-growing roles in the labor market, no? And yes, the information and media skills are transversal to the education system to prepare people. You know, they're important in a media-based culture to create, because they have their own language and individuals need to be able to participate on that. I thought you have mentioned before that some of you come from the media environment, no, media sector, and you wanted your students to know this language, to get used to use their symbols, to be able to create as well. So this is important. This is it's every day, it's everywhere. So students need to be confident, need to be aware of these symbols, what they mean, and at the end being able to use them correctly, conveniently. Of course, this new labor market that we were talking about before, but also for everyday life, because administrative operations, banking, purchases, communication, entertainment, all these activities that we need to perform in our in a daily basis are embedded of technology and digital media, no? And of course, why we are talking about media literacy? Well, this is traditional literacy, no? This is it's a literacy defined as the ability or the capacity to read and to write, being able to understand a simple statement related to the daily life. It is related to the skills, reading skills, writing skills, but also maybe some arithmetic skills, and is considered everywhere like a human right, because it's the right related to education. And when we talk about media education, and here I'm very glad to share with you this picture, because this is in the studios of the Autonomous University of Barcelona. These are students of the masters you are doing now, that were working with children, teaching them how to use the cameras and teaching the students of the university. Is the new way of literacy. Is the literacy of the 20th and 21st centuries. Is the literacy that deals with the new languages of the media. Well, here's a bit more. This is maybe you will tackle this in other modules of the forum. I don't want to go very academic here. But well, just to present this, the idea is that there was a line of studies coming from information literacy and another one coming from media literacy, and it was UNESCO who did great efforts to unify these concepts, information and media literacy, to talk about this literacy that deals with empowering people and communities to participate in knowledge societies and develop individual skills like critical thinking, problem solving, and collaboration through the media. And here I wanted to quote this UN Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohamed, that said that without decisive action by the international community, the digital divide will become the new face of inequality. Without media and information skills, people risk staying behind the digital economy, missing access to information benefits, cultural expressions, and participation in society. Here you can see, I'm sorry because this is not very, I forgot the title here, but here is the penetration of technology adoption across the world, and you can see the big difference, the big gap that we have between industrialized countries and the less developed countries. And here is like a first layer of the gap, because here is the technology gap. Here is the accessibility to this to devices. But we are going to see how there are different and more and deeper layers of inequalities that come from technology that we need to deal with. Well, here are some statistics. I will leave you this presentation so you can later take a look to this statistics. I don't want to go very deep on this, but this deals with what is the demographic divide. And here I have some statistics regarding women and gender, but there are many. For example, we have also gaps regarding generations. For example, this is a result of a study that says that the older person is, the more likely he or she is not to engage in online political practices. So age is also like a demographic gap that offer different results regarding the participation or getting full advantage of what is the digital technology that we have in our hands now. I'm sorry, I'm going to adjust this because I'm not seeing you now, and it's not okay. Now, I'm sorry for that. I'll continue. And in one hand, we can say that generation can suppose a gap for participation, but we can have also there are also gaps regarding age. For example, we should not expect that young people, just for being young, just for being able to use technology from the beginning, from early ages, they are able to use technology and digital media and platforms wisely. No, they can also confront many difficulties while dealing with this information, because sometimes they don't understand the type of information they are reading. They don't check the confidence of the source. So there are many conditions that are mediating the possibilities of young people to understand information. So not only young people are at risk, but also young people can be at risk when it regarding, for example, critical thinking and the capacity of understand the reliability of an information. And that's why many authors talk about different layers of gaps regarding the digital gap. It's not only the demographic divide. It's not only the digital divide. We have like access divide, because the access device would be the first device, but then we have the knowledge and uses device. But because once we have access to the technology, and now we have seen like many countries in the countries in development that are having access to the technology as well, but they're having an access mainly related to very consuming ways of using information. For example, it's very different. It's very different if you use the information just to consume Facebook, or just to communicate online with your friends, or if you can use information really to follow your path, your career, if you can really use them as an investment for your life, no, for your project of life you have, no. So this is why this knowledge and uses divide is so important, no. And here is a graphic that allow us to understand how the use of technology is going to be balanced in the future. No, we can see a quick adoption of technology in the 2000s for North America, for example, or even for Europe and Central Asia. But then we can see that other countries like South Asia or Sub-Saharan Africa are taking a good step on adoption of technology. So in the future, technology itself would not be a big problem for equality in terms of technology and digital media. It would be beyond that. It would be the usages divide, no, the knowledge divide. It would be if people uses technology for entertainment, for example, or for beneficial uses like information, news, or for example, their personal development. So this is a big, I think, a big cornerstone, no, to understand how this is going to happen in terms of digital gap. Do you have any reaction here? Any questions? Something you want to ask?
I have one question regarding the critical thinking that we are talking a lot. How can we like measure critical thinking? You know, I think it's such a wide topic, and it's like, you know, a very like, you know, it's not like one skill, it's like set of many things that you have to know in order to have this critical thinking. So that's my question. Well, I don't think there's like a particular answer, but maybe like, you know, a debate topic, because I think it's really difficult to measure this even with older generation, not talking about even like, you know, younger generation.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for raising this, because I think it is very interesting. I wanted to share. No, I don't have it here. Well, I have something here. Maybe we can use this. I think that critical thinking here is presented as critical understanding is very interesting, because it is very complex as well. I think that we are not that developed in that area. You know, I think that we need more studies
Yeah.
to understand what we are talking about here, because if it is very easy to do some research on the use, for example, or even in communicate, you see the medium bubbles are like big
Mhm.
dimensions, to explain media competencies. Even if it's easy to do some research on use and communication and creation, because you can ask people if they can access what devices to do what, or you can say if they create contents or if they collaborate. This is easy, but it's very complicated to do some research at a large scale
Yeah.
on understanding, on awareness, on evaluation and assessment. Is very complex. So here I think that you can do like a lot of mainly qualitative studies. We
Yeah.
need to do many more qualitative studies to try to advance on how to assess critical thinking. It's very complicated, and because it not only depends on the cognitive aspects of how human brain processes information, but also on the type of content. It's not the same if you are processing a video or, for example, a fiction series, or if you are processing an article online. You know, it's very different. So it's very hard to understand how to measure that.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's why I'm interested in it, because there are plenty of articles online. I'm not talking about like, you know, academic journals, but you know, mainly like mainstream media maybe, that people always ask like whether you have a good critical thinking ability when you like watch TikToks and you don't like, you know, it's like so easy to understand. and people just don't use their critical thinking in order like to question what they're talking about there. So I think this is a very interesting topic to just think how we can measure it, or even if we actually can measure it.
Yeah. Yeah, here in the I put you in the bibliography. I put you the access to this study where José Manuel Pérez Tornero, I think you had a conference with him, maybe. The director of the Gabinete, well, he the founder of the Gabinete and the master. And one of the dimensions of media and information literacy is critical understanding competencies, no? So they proposed like 3 important criteria: knowledge about media and media regulation. So that means that people understands, for example, that when they are going online and they are having information from Facebook or Twitter, they have to understand that they're dealing with for-profit organizations that take advantage from your time of consumption to offer you advertising, or that they deal with an algorithm to propose contents that are similar or that will resonate with you. That means that they will propose contents to you that resonate with your political opinions, for example. This is one big area. So to understand how media works, and what are media regulation, to what point media are regulated to deliver a good product, a reliable product. Another big criteria is the user behavior. How do they go online? How do they jump from one website to another? Their capabilities to balance information, to do a balanced also consumption of media. I will finish with this, and understanding media content, no? That will be related to that, to understand, to really understand what they are reading, to really understand what is the content of the media they are consuming, no? And I wanted to share with you another relevant criteria. I think it is very important to understand critical thinking. Okay, I will share with you. I will jump some slides to share this with you. The comparison of different information perspectives, the knowledge that I mentioned already, the referential knowledge about how media systems work, and privacy and security awareness and measures. And this is very important as well, because many people don't know if they are going online in a safe way or not, no? And they are sharing their data, and what implications they have, no? This is the concept I wanted to share with you, the personal locus. And this is a concept from James Potter, talking about in his book Media Literacy: A Cognitive Approach. And for him, the personal locus is a drive for greater knowledge and effective action. The personal locus, for example, would be how aware you are when you are consuming media, no? And he talks here about mindfulness, about self-awareness, about what you are doing. Are you just having your TV on in second plane while you are doing something else, and you're just overhearing something that you cannot really fact checked, you know, and you just hear something and then you repeat it when you are in a group or in a WhatsApp group, or just mindfully reading an information and trying to fact check what you are consuming. You know, it's like controlling the channels and your personal routines as well regarding media, because it's not the same being all the time like scrolling or your mobile phone, and you're just, you know, like flying over things of information, or just choosing your channels to get informed. You are fact-checking what looks a bit weird to you or that needs fact-checking, you know. Is some control of the outcomes of the media consumption. I think that this is a very important concept when talking about critical thinking. Okay, and okay, so we just presented the personal concepts related to critical thinking, but this is the pyramid of dimensions on media literacy. On the basement of the pyramid, you have like environmental factors that they are like more general for the society in a determined country. For example, the media availability, the media literacy country, if there are institutions that are fostering media literacy, media education, if there is a civil society that is active, controlling media consumption, or proposing interesting activities to improve this area. How developed is the media industry, for example? So these are all aspects that were important for this research, trying to assess the media literacy level of European citizens in this case. And in the top of the pyramid, you have communication abilities, and they would be more linked to active actions toward media and towards communication. For example, civil participation, the social relations you establish with your community members, and the creation of content. No? This would be the most active part, and it is considered to be a consequence or a result of good critical understanding abilities and good use skills that you have to have before to consume media and to propose new content to your community. Okay, this is another approach that I would let you explore later. It is more distributed. It is not organized in pyramid, because I think that many people produce content without having proper critical thinking abilities, and I think that this is a big problem. So we should not expect people having proper critical thinking abilities before they create content. This is not possible in our society. Digital devices and platforms push us toward creating content, creating messages. So I think that we have to deal with a different approach to the order of these dimensions. No, I think that there's something for you to react as well if you have a different approach. But yes, and then the risk we were talking about. I told you that we were going to talk about challenges of our society. One of them is what have been called the cyber cascades of information. This means that information flows very easily, very quickly. People, even institutions, sometimes they don't feel they have the time to contrast information, to fact check, and they just repeat. Sometimes not the good information, or changing a bit, no, like how do you call that in English? Like rumors, do you say in English? I don't know. It's like, there is a word, I will look for you, but you know, it's like information that gets replicated very easily without proper fact checking. Is very easily spread, this kind of information, with our current media system. No, we have the impression that we have to be the first on disseminating one information, or to react to some information without giving ourselves the proper time to fact check, to reflect on the information. No? So this is one of the challenges that is a result of this media system. Another one is that policies sometimes lag behind rapid technological evolution. No, we can see how privacy laws come very late sometimes when many breaches of privacy have been taking place. No. And here I wanted to share an example with you. I will share a video. This is related to some riots that took place last summer in UK. Racist riots that sparked after a massive stabbing that occurred, and this character, I don't know if you know it, he's a hater, Andrew Tate, spread false information about the origin of the stabber. He just said, well, I will let you know, I will let you see the video, and you will. We can discuss about it later. Okay, 1 second. What's happening here? Okay. Okay, here it is. You can see it, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Opportunity finally to tell the right
You can see it, right? And you can hear it?
Yes.
to stop right. Yes or no?
Let me make it clear to the people on both sides of the equation.
I'm sorry, this is Piers Morgan, the well-known journalist from UK that is having Andrew Tate in his YouTube channel, just talking about this incident that happened.
And all of the Christians and native people of the UK who feel like they're underrepresented. You have more in common with the people you live amongst than you do with these political elites. The people you live amongst love their children, and they're struggling to pay the bills exactly like you are. What kind of powder keg are we building here to incompetent leadership in the UK? I'm a mixed race Muslim, and I'm pointing out the very obvious truth.
The sheer brass neck, frankly, Andrew, of you lecturing me about the truth when you've spent the last week spewing complete fake news bullshit. You told your millions of followers, and it was seen by 15 million people, that it was an illegal migrant who had committed these crimes. Are you prepared to apologize for that lie?
Only in the UK do we have a country so insane that we have no border, we don't know who's there, crimes through the roof, nobody's safe on the streets anymore. And then when you point these things out, somehow you're some kind of racist and bad person.
You know, you're posting.
I will answer this.
Commented that civil war is inevitable in the UK. Many US conservatives are amplifying the unrest as apparent evidence of failed multiculturalism. One of the influencers accused of fanning the flames is Andrew Tate, a recently converted Muslim man whose inaccurate claims in the days after the mass stabbing have been viewed tens of millions of times. And he joins me now. Tate, welcome back to Uncensored.
Been a while.
It has, and obviously you, as in fact I'm about to talk to you, Nigel Farage, who is now a member of Parliament in the UK and who has been saying some very inflammatory things in the last week or so about these riots, has blamed you and named you in a radio interview as for the person who spread the disinformation, which he then believed. I want to start by playing a clip of a video you posted to Instagram, I think it was, on the 29th of July, that you posted to various social media platforms, in which was your response to what had happened.
So an undocumented migrant decided to go into a Taylor Swift dance class today and stab 6 little girls. Sorry, somebody arrived in the UK on a boat. Nobody knew who he was. Nobody knows where he's from. The media is, of course, hiding the fact that this is a 17-year-old male. They don't want to highlight how ridiculous it is that we allow military-aged males, combatants, to flood our shores. I don't see any protests in the UK. I don't see anybody complaining. Nobody's outside of the school. Nobody's outside the police station. The soul of the Western man is so broken that when the invaders slaughter your daughters, do absolutely fucking nothing.
Now that video has been viewed 15.1 million times. X limited the post's visibility because of its rules on hateful conduct. But the bottom line, Andrew, is that almost everything you said in that video was completely untrue. And yet it was apparently seized upon online, spread wide and far, and made people believe what you were saying. So my question for you off the top here why did you race to spread such woeful disinformation?
Well, you can get the idea here, right? And this is also an example of cyber cascades because you can see he mentioned how this deputy Nigel Farage, he repeated the information because he saw it from this Andrew Tate and he thought it was true. So he just replicated as like this without contrasting it. No, so this is an example of cyber cascades, but you can see how this guy, which is what would be understood today as an influencer, can spread false information that is seen many million times by a lot of people, and even spark riots based on something that is completely untrue, that is completely false. So I will put my presentation again. Sorry for that. We close here. Okay. Example of how there's something from 2024. It's incredible how our democracy and citizen security can be in danger, no? In the frame of this possibilities of misinformation and fake news that we have in the current media landscape, no? And of course, it is linked to a deregulation of free speech online, and we have to ask ourselves, what is freedom of speech? This is another good question. Good question. Many countries have many problems to understand how to regulate speech online. They don't have to do it. I have followed many debates, for example, on France, trying to deliver laws that can handle the situation, and it's very difficult, something very difficult to do. Do you have some reaction here regarding how fake news are threats to democracy, to citizen security?
I just probably can add one more thing about it's also another philosophical question, what is fake news? Because, for example, we can see what's happening now with Twitter, and it is highly political now. And if I don't like that, I can claim it to be like, government-funded media, and it will have like a special like sign that is a government funded, and the credibility of this media will be like quite low. So I think it's also quite difficult to say what is fake or what is real now, especially with the AI advancement. It's completely, I think, impossible to trace the original like information, except if it's like a report or something. But also when it's in report, we also cannot trace the original, like if it's true or not. And I do believe that it's gonna get worse. Sounds not very positive, but I do think it's gonna be like that. And it just, again, makes it incredibly difficult for all of us to navigate this world of information where we can't, trust no one, which is like, it sounds awful, but it also like probably real because you have to verify information on your own. And I don't think it's quite possible to verify everything we see, everything we read. And yeah, I think this fake thing and cascades, it's just gonna get worse. And yeah, maybe it's a part of a literacy, I don't know. But still, even if we have like, a universal tool to check news or something, which can be a thing, a useful thing, but I don't think it's gonna work because it's hardly impossible to put all the information there. But this is my point of view. Very pessimistic, but it is what it is.
Totally. I don't have a better answer for you. I agree with everything you said. And I wanted to add another layer of complexity. I think another layer would be junk information, not fake. Because maybe fake news, you can say, okay, this is not true. And you can reveal that it's not true. But what about junk information? And with AI, this will be a problem because there are many things that not contribute really to a real understanding of things, and we are losing our times consuming things that are not helpful at all.
Yeah.
So this is a big problem. I think that I don't know if we will be able from a technological tool to find something to fact check. But it's a big problem. I don't know how what is. I'm opening the debate here because I think it's more interesting than what I'm going to in my slides. I don't know what is your current use of ChatGPT. If you use it, I use it sometimes. It do a lot of mistakes. It's incredible.
Yes, and I think this is also another problem that we are facing now because they claim to be like, advanced and they have all the information we actually need, which is not true. And I use it quite often because of my work. And you can, from my point of view, you can use it as like a, let's say, kind of a inspirational tool that you can, for example, like, so for my work, I write texts. And if I ask, like, create this text for me, it's going to be like, a structure that I can use for sure. It can be something that I can, I don't know, read or elaborate with, but in the end, it's still not accurate. And so when you ask, for example, provide like sources, it can give you a list of, like placeholder links. And this is also, I think, a big problem for people who rely on ChatGPT. And I know, for example, this is a big problem for C-level executives at many workplaces. They basically force people to use AI because they claim it to be like, if you use it, it's going to be faster. We can deliver more, we can earn more money and blah, blah, blah. But it's so, I don't know, so visible, when you see something that is like AI generated. So I don't know. I think AI, it's another huge, huge problem that will contribute to this junk information that we have all around. And I'm talking only about text. I'm not even talking about like, images or videos, because just a side note, I went to this, what's the name of the festival? Is it Hume Festival in Barcelona? And they had projection of AI videos on the Design Museum wall. And sometimes you were just watching it and like, it looks completely real. So it's like impossible to understand if it was generated or it's a real video. So yeah, except, I mean, of course there are cases when you can see it, but in many cases it's impossible.
Yeah, I think if now for images and videos, now it's quite, you can see, you can see when it is AI generated. And I say, if now it's that evident and many people think this is real,
Yeah,
what will happen in the future when this technology gets more sophisticated, no?
absolutely. I mean, they already use it for some movies and production. So I think it is getting better and better every day, and probably it will be like a near future when they're gonna use it for like all of the stuff, like content wise. But yeah, I don't know if it actually, I think it's like a next step for this critical thinking and media literacy, just to understand if it's like AI generated or not. But I think it is also applicable for people who already reach some kind of a level of understanding, like, where they can understand if it's a fake news or not, and then they can think about if it's AI or not. But for people who just started this journey, especially kids who just, just getting familiar with this world of information, I think it would be very difficult for them to navigate it.
Totally. Do you want to add something here? Lily? Hey, Ilian?
I think it's very difficult. Sorry.
Okay, you first.
Ladies first.
Just now, talking about junk news and false news and AI. I think about critical thinking depends on how you to use it. When I use the new technology, we can get some information. We need to keep a positive attitude towards the technology. I know some information misleading us. So that's the reason that's the reason we need to know more about the technology and to analyze it. So the most important thing is when we are no need to pessimistic. We have to believe in one thing is the technology have pushed something. Also, everything have two sides. So we need to the critical thinking is a complicated topic, but it depends on how we to evaluate and how to use it. Okay. So that's my opinion. I think keep a positive attitude and toward technology, and to see the changes is important.
I totally agree with you. That's why we are doing this master, right? Because we are, all of us are worried and we think that we can do something regarding critical thinking and a positive use of technology. And I do agree that children are those who are at risk the most, no? Because they are just starting to adapt to reality, to understand reality. So they need to have this this something, no, to grab something that is real. So I think the school itself, it has to change, and it has to embrace more topics related to critical thinking. I mean the school, and that I think this is this touches what we were discussing in the third in the second topic of the forum, because the role of the schools changed. It is expected not to teach a lot on the reference of the words, because that we will have it using technology. Children are very young, at very young ages online, so they can discover the word on media, etc., their families. But the school has a good role, a very important role in developing this critical thinking and giving tools to individuals on how to access information. Of course, it is difficult to fact check every information we have, but we are not alone in this process. We have this important profession that is journalism. We have journalists that do this job for us. If we have a good journalism, we have good media, and this is why it is important as well. This is the role of government and the states in providing this kind of services to citizens. You know, these people, this job is to fact check information and to do good research, to provide some places of reality and of true information. Of course, there are like subjectivity in journalism, but there are like many guarantees for journalism to be truth and to have the possibility of give us, if not the very specific truth, like island of truth, no, to navigate, you know. So I mean, of course we need to be positive, but we need to improve our schools, our education systems, and our media, of course.
Regarding schools, I do have this question that, I mean, it's pretty obvious that we all agree in the forum that the role of schools has changed. But the thing is, do schools really change? Because, for example, before the war in Ukraine started, I lived in Russia. And the government spent insane amount of money to, digitalize schools, to provide better service, let's say, better educational programs and stuff like that. But majority of teachers, I don't know if it's the same situation here in Spain, but majority of teachers were, let's say, quite old, and they were not ready to use these new technologies, talk about new information, and use, like some hands-on experience as well. And I think, of course, we had like, these things called like smart boards and everything, which is fine. But the content of the curriculum is still the same. And I think it's all about what's what we talk about actually and know how we talk about it, you know, I mean, how with technologies. Because I do think that it's really difficult for the massive institution like school to change that instant, but our world changing like in a very, very fast way.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. I think that this will it's very difficult because technology is easy to change, no? It's just devices, technology, but
Yeah.
people and it's difficult, no, for people to get trained, to get the profession and institutions, educational institutions go lag behind, no, sometimes from these changes.
Yeah.
Mm. It's quite complicated, yeah. It needs time. It needs time to change curricula to. I think that this is why, like, it's important for teachers to be trained after they are working, no? It's
Yeah. Yeah.
important, but still, it requires a lot of resources to do that and to
Absolutely.
keep the pace on that. Mhm. And as you said, is in terms of the smart classroom,
Yeah.
very easy to implement changes, but in terms of smart um, cognitive tools, is more difficult.
Yes, absolutely.
There is something else you want to share here? Well, I wanted to share with you another things that are interesting, but I think that we have discussed already about them. Misinformation, you have links here if you want. I wanted to know if you have taken a look. And this is one regarding your comment, Lily. I wanted to close sharing with you this phrase of Edgar Morin that says that we are sailing in an ocean of uncertainties through archipelagos of certainties. No, and this is the approach, not to get very negative, very pessimistic um, about the path we are taking, no, regarding information and media. I wanted to know if you have any doubt regarding the activity. You have taken a look, if you have something. If not, I would just recommend you to make it as concrete as possible, you know, thinking in a very short, in a very specific small group of students. You don't have to propose an activity for an entire institution. Just be very specific on your public, on the group of students you are going to work with, their age, their level of knowledge about the topic, and try to propose an activity as concrete as possible. Okay, this is my recommendation. And if you have any doubt, you can write me at any moment. You have my email in the presentation as well. I put my personal email here, but you can write me through the online, the campus as well. And that's all from my side. I wanted to close with this epitaph, you call it in English, that is in the tomb of Marshall McLuhan, that says, the truth shall make you free.
Thank you, Hazel, and thank you all of you for your participation. I think it was quite an interesting session today, and it was really, really participative. So thank you all of you. I don't know if you had any final thought, any final comment, something you want to say before we, sorry, before we end today. Yeah. Okay, so thank you again, guys, and we see you next week in the next Zoom. Remember to upload the activity before Sunday, and if you need anything, related to the activity or anything related to the course or to the module, please don't hesitate to write to us and also to Professor Geisel. So thank you, and thank you, Geisel, for your time. So I hope we see you next week. Thank you, guys.
Thanks to
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Good
Bye-bye.
afternoon.
Good afternoon. Bye-bye.